So, as we can see here, we've compared the best case scenario to the situation before the sealing, and we've looked at the case of the worst case scenario for the generation of deadweight loss. And now, that darn phone! Indeed, what should we do? We've recorded the perfect video. We're 10 minutes in or 20 minutes into the video, and then the phone rings or somebody knocks on your door. You get interrupted or you make a horrible mistake. What are you going to do? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you what you can do. I'm going to show you how you can do some basic video editing with a program called VDub for short, is what we usually call it. The full name of the program is called VirtualDub. So how do you get VirtualDub? It's a free program, won't cost you anything. Just go to Google and search for VirtualDub or VDub. And when you Google VDub or VirtualDub, what comes up are first two links here. Either one of them will eventually work. There's www.virtualdub.org, which gives you information about the project. But they're going to send you to a link to download it at sourceforge.net. So you might as well, if you want to read about the project, go to virtualdub.org. If you want to download it, go to sourceforge.net. So download VirtualDub, install it as you normally would. And what do you do next? Well, let me show you what VirtualDub looks like when you open up the program. It's just a blank window. So here are the steps that we basically want to go through when you've made a video and then something awful happens and you have to stop the video. What you want to do is to cut out the bad part from the end, and then you want to record a new section to replace that bad part, and then you want to merge those two videos together, merge those two clips together. That's what I'm going to show you right now. So when you're in VirtualDub, let's just go to File, Open Video File, and this first clip here called clip 0002.avi is the first clip where I messed up, where the phone rang and it distracted me and it ruined the video. So VirtualDub will only be able to work with AVI files. So it works well with the program that I showed you for recording videos before, called Hypercam, that saves the videos as .avi clips. So VirtualDub will read it in, and if you look at the VirtualDub window, you'll see one frame of the video here. And then if you made this widescreen enough, it actually shows you a second copy of the same thing on the right. Now, for most purposes, you can ignore this second copy on the right. What that's for is to give you a sort of a preview if you apply some sort of filter or color change or brightening. There are all kinds of different filters that you can apply in VDub. I'm not going to get into the details of doing that since this is a basic idea, but VDub does have some powerful features like changing color, the basic coloration of a video, etc. We're just going to stick to the basics. We want to cut the end off of a video, and then we want to splice together two segments. So what you do is you can hit the play button down here, and there are two play buttons. The first play button on the left plays the input file without any kind of changes that you've done to it. The second play button here, it's got a play button with a little 0. So it's play with an I, that's to play the input video. Play with an O, that's going to play the output video, a preview of the changes that you've made. Doesn't matter in this case because we haven't made any changes yet. So let's just hit play. And so here's the video playing here. We've compared the best case. Now what we want to do is, as the video plays, you see this little rectangle down here. We want to try to watch for the point in the video where things start to go wrong. So we want to identify the place that we want to cut the video. Okay, that's what we're watching for. So let's try to get it down here to the situation before the ceiling, and we've looked at the case of the worst case scenario for the generation of deadweight loss. And now, okay, as we see down here, it was at about the number 190 or so when things started to go wrong. So what we want to do is approximately, we're going to slide this little square to around 190, or let's say 195. And the two keys we want to use are the end key and the home key. The end key selects the end of a clip that you want to clip. So if I hit the end key, you see that it turned blue everything from the beginning to the end. Now we don't have to actually use the home key, but if we wanted to select a part of the video in the middle, say between the number frame 65 here and frame 195, we would move this little square to 65 and then hit the home key. And that way we could cut out this blue section to keep. Okay? But since we want the entire, suppose the first part of the video was fine, we can hit the home key. It'll select everything from the beginning to 195, which is where that little cursor was when we hit the end key. Now we want to see, did we select the right place to stop the video? Here's where we want to press the play with the O. We want to play what the output is going to look like. And let's see if we stopped it at the right place. Weight loss. Well, that seems pretty close. What if we went too far and we got some of the phone ringing in there? Here, let's just back up the cursor a little bit, hit play. Weight loss. And now, so clearly that's not where we want it. So if we go back around 195 and hit end, so we can end it quicker, of dead weight loss. Okay, so that's not a bad place to end it. Now what we want to do is save the part that we just selected as a clip. So before you save it though, it's very critical that we go up here to video and compression, and we select the codec that we want to use to compress the video. If you don't select the compression, the default option for VDub is uncompressed. And what you're going to have is, for even a very short video, you're going to have an immense file size that's going to fill up your entire hard drive. So let's select the XVID MPEG-4 codec. That's the one that I like. And let's hit OK. Now when it saves it, it's going to save it with that codec. Another thing that it's best, this is just best practices. This is optional, but best practices is to leave this on full processing mode. A quick way to do this would be direct stream copy. What that's going to do is just literally slice off the end of the file. The problem with doing that is sometimes that will cause your audio and your video not to be synced correctly. Sometimes also it won't cut the video exactly where you want to. If you leave it on full processing mode, the warning is it's going to take a long time. If you have a 10 or 20 minute video, full processing, it's going to decompress the video, decode the video, and then fully re-encode it. It's going to take a while. It could take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes in some cases, depending on your computer. But you're going to get much better results if you use the full processing mode. So now we want to save this clip. So we go to File, Save as AVI, and let me just find the folder here. Okay, here's the folder that I'm working in. And normally when I cut a video to make it shorter, I will just append the name with an S, like .s or something like that. That tells me that it's the same clip as clip 0002, but it's the shorter version where I've trimmed some of the end off. I like to keep the original file because every once in a while something will go wrong and you'll need to try this again. And if you overwrite it, that could spell doom. Okay, so we're going to save it. And you can see now that it's processing. It didn't take very long to do that because it was just a few seconds. It wasn't really a 20-minute video. Now, what I recommend is to watch that shorter clip and to make sure that it really contains the video that you want and that it looks the way you want it to look. Now we're going to skip doing that right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close the video file that we were working with, and I'm going to open up the shorter one. So the clip 0002S. And now that we have this one loaded, I'm going to load in another clip. And this clip 0003 is another clip I recorded that we could stick on the end and finish that video. If you want to do that, you go to File, Append Avi Segment. So that's going to stick this other AVI segment at the end of the video. So Append Avi Segment. Select the segment that you want to add onto the end. It says that they're using different compression schemes. So here's a problem. The clip 0003 is not using the XVID compression, and the clip 002 is. So we're going to have to fix that. It's good that these problems happen so that if they happen to you, you'll know what to do. Okay, so let's close that video file. Let's open the clip that it says has a different encoding scheme, and let's just save it. Let's save it, and it'll do the full processing. File, save as AVI. So I'm going to call this the same thing but recompressed. I'll add .recom. Okay, it recompressed it, and now let's see if it will let us do what we wanted to do. So again, we want to load in the first video segment that we want, the clip 0002S. We want to append an AVI segment. So we want to select this recompressed one, and now they should have the same compression. We don't get that error. And so now what we want to do is save as AVI. And by saving as AVI, it's going to stick those two clips together. So we'll give it a new name. So clips.all, or whatever kind of name you want to give it. And now it's going to go through and fully recompress everything. And we should have a video that includes both of those clips. Let's check. So here's the completed video. Let's see if we got what we wanted. So, as we can see here, we've compared the best case scenario to the situation before the sealing, and we've looked at the case of the worst case scenario for the generation of deadweight loss. And so you see there, I heard a little bit of that phone ringing. So if we wanted this video to be perfect, we would probably want to go back in and just trim a little bit more off of that clip that we made shorter, maybe clip another half a second off or so to eliminate that phone ringing. But this is the basic idea. It's not all that difficult, but you will run into little snags just as we did when making this video because we recompressed the first one. The second one had a different encoding, and VirtualDub didn't like that. But we took care of that problem without much trouble. So this is just the basics. There are a lot of other capabilities that VirtualDub has. There are a lot of help communities online that you can check that describe some of the different filters and features and other tools that you can use. It's a great program given that it's free. It's not nearly as slick as a lot of other ones are. But if you're just getting started, this is a great tool to have in your toolbox.